Gary Sharpe is a Parkinson's sufferer who earlier this year co-founded a project called Out-Thinking Parkinsons. The project is aimed at providing support and tools for people who've recently received a Parkinson's diagnosis. Gary tells Penistone FM's Joe Ruston about his own diagnosis and how the idea for the project came about.
I was diagnosed with the early onset form of Parkinson's disease in my 30s, about 7 years ago. And I found myself in a very dark place. I was very depressed. I'd almost given up on living. And one of the breakthroughs I had was when the Parkinson's UK Society started paying for counselling sessions for sufferers of Parkinson's. And I would recommend counselling now to anybody with chronic conditions like this. And what that did for me was unlock my mind to be able to think about for myself how to cope and how to even recover from Parkinson's. And around the same time as having counselling, I met a friend online called Deb Helfrich, who is very knowledgeable about holistic treatment of medical conditions. And she introduced me to a number of concepts that in combination with the medicine could really help. So we started a project called Out-Thinking Parkinson's on the 5th of January this year. And what we decided to do was through self-experimentation and a very holistic approach, doing our own research and trying things. I've come a long way in the last 3 months. I'm on the path now to recovery. My symptoms are greatly reduced, my mood is greatly elevated, and people are even noticing my personality is much more upbeat. I've come from a dark place, and I've actually been able to recover some of my quality of life. So what we're developing is a series of quality of life interventions, looking at things which can help Parkinson's in combination with healthcare support, which aren't medical or surgical. So one of the main things about Parkinson's is that we know that stress is the killer. Any stress can really lock us up and make us quite rigid and make the symptoms much worse. It kind of pulls us into the classical C-shaped Parkinson's, I call it the Parkinson's stance, where you're hunched over and your arms are out in front and your hands are claw-like. And stress really pulls us into that. But it also affects the mind. And because when you're in pain, the mind gets anxious as well, we get into a feedback cycle quite quickly of physical pain and mental anguish. So one of the things that the counselling really helped me with was give me the mind tools to address stress and try and keep relaxed and calm. And we're not taught this at schools, and we're not taught this at work, but there are mind tools out there which really help. Visualization. There's something that's quite popular now called emotional freedom technique, where you tap on your head and your body and you express your emotions. And this, I find, works for me. It can help me relax. And things like acupuncture and massage or aromatherapy.
How about the diet? What kind of things have you done in brief for your diet?
We've spoken to quite a few people who have had good recovery themselves. And the common theme was that the food is very important. It seemed that most of them have gone gluten-free. So I've been gluten-free now for nearly 90 days, and apparently it takes at least 3 months before you really start noticing the effects. And because I'm doing lots of other quality of life interventions, it's not clear how beneficial that is. But I don't think it could be bad for you. But we do know that since I've been gluten-free, when I've accidentally had gluten, it has a major impact on my symptoms. The other thing we started looking into is the correlations between deficiencies of vitamins and minerals and Parkinson's. And one of the early breakthroughs we had was magnesium, which is a really powerful muscle relaxant. So one of the issues I had with my Parkinson's is when the symptoms were apparent, I had really bad cramp in my shoulders, and that really prevented the movement in itself. And because we also found that there's a correlation between digestive problems and Parkinson's, we decided that just taking magnesium orally, it might not get absorbed because of the digestive issue. So we found a local pharmacy company called Better You, who have got a really good product, which is spray-on magnesium. And that was such a breakthrough for me, because just spraying that on regularly throughout the day prevents that cramping in my shoulders. And so it also relieves the stress as well, the stress due to pain. From there, we started looking into coconut oil, which people had said does wonders for the symptoms of it. So I started putting coconut oil in my tea, a teaspoonful, and almost immediately I noticed a remarkable effect. Essentially, when I had this drink with coconut oil in there, my mood elevates, but the brain fog clears, and I can concentrate, and I seem to have crystal clear thought processes. And people have even found anecdotally that it can really help reverse Alzheimer's. The right food and the wrong food can really make a difference. And I would encourage anybody with Parkinson's to really explore food as medicine.
Keep listening to Penistone FM for part 2 of Joe's interview with Gary, when he explains the root causes of the disease.